guys, my name is Christina and thank you very much for watching my channel Dadunikos Deda. For those of you who have come to my channel for the first time, I would like to let you know that I do my videos in 3 languages, which is English, Georgian and Russian. So if you would like to follow and check out the videos in English language, please do subscribe, like and share with your friends. Today I would like to talk about very irritating conditions which bothers so many kids and of course their parents worldwide. That is eczema or dermatitis or atopic dermatitis. These are all the words which mean the same thing. They're inflammatory skin condition. If you don't know what eczema is, then you are very lucky. So don't waste your time watching this video. However, if you do know what it is and you are looking to find some sort of treatment or more like ways of coping with your child's eczema or your eczema, then I really do hope that this video is for you and it will be able to provide you with useful and helpful information. Damian was around 8 months old when he was first diagnosed with this condition, and starting from that very day my endless search of the information, my research, my going to doctors really started. I kept on hearing that other moms were also complaining and sharing, saying that their kids also had similar problems. So then I realized that it was quite common condition, unfortunately. Therefore, I really want to show with all of you guys who are struggling to cope with this condition, our own experience of trying to battle with eczema, but not using the steroid creams. I would like just quickly mention a very important thing that while speaking about eczema, it's really important to understand that it is not just a skin condition. So basically it is a reaction of a person's overactive immune system towards different sort of irritants. Those irritants could be outside irritants or inner irritants. So, for example, the food which goes into our body could be irritating for our immune system because it is not recognizing it and it is basically attacking it as an allergen. Or it could be something which is outside of the person, for example, any sort of dust or smoke or anything else. So if your child does have this condition that I'm pretty sure you already know how it looks or what symptoms it has got, just to say very briefly, because it is the process when the skin gets inflamed, the skin gets very red, it becomes cracked, very dry and very itchy, and it can also get infected if it gets cracked. According to the scientific studies, around 15 to 20% of kids worldwide do have this condition. However, it has been also stated that some kids by the age of 5 would generally overgrow this condition, so they would not have eczema once they are adults. However, obviously, it is very much dependent on case-to-case scenarios. When Damian was initially diagnosed with this atopic dermatitis, I kept on going from one doctor to another, to the GP, to the dermatologist, and I kept on asking the same question. Obviously, first of all, how to treat it, how to deal with it, and then where did it come from? How did this happen? But nobody could really give me a proper answer. So initially, to be very honest, I felt even guilty in a way, because I was thinking as a first-time parent, maybe I wasn't doing something properly, maybe I was missing out something in the way that I should be taking care of my child's skin, or bathing or anything of that sort. However, later on, after doing all sorts of research, I found out that unfortunately there is no specific explanation of where the eczema comes from. So they do name different sort of the risk factors. For example, genetics is one of them. However, it's not exactly the explanation in our scenario, because neither on my side nor on my son's father's side we have any sort of allergies, or we don't have eczema either. So in our case, genetics is not really a risk factor. However, our son still did get this condition. So since there is no particular or definite explanation or research which would show where or why the eczema is developing, therefore there is no specific treatment available at the moment. So it doesn't matter which country you live in, predominantly worldwide, any dermatologist would follow more or less similar type of treatment, as they call it, of this condition. However, if you do the research and you look into it in more detail, you understand that it is not actually treatment. It is more like trying to alleviate and make the symptoms more bearable and keep the flares up of the eczema under control. So most of the doctors' course of treatment, as they call it, would be giving probably some sort of the antihistamine medication, some sort of tablets to subside the itching. And very, very common thing that they do is prescribing the steroid or hormonal creams to apply when you have a bad flare-up. We have taken my son to doctors in 3 different countries. Obviously, we live in London. We visited a dermatologist here. We've been to India, where my husband is from. We went to see the dermatologist over there. And I'm from Georgia, and we went to see the dermatologist in Georgia as well. And all of them gave us the same course of treatment. Obviously, initially, I did follow the doctor's advice. I gave Damian the medications, I applied the steroid cream, and you know what? Initially, it did work. We applied the cream first time, and within a couple of days, his flare-up was nearly gone. So the skin became quite clean, nice, not red, not itchy. However, my happiness didn't last for long, unfortunately, because within, I think, 1 month or so after the first application of the cream, his eczema came back. And again, I did the same thing. I applied the cream, and again, it subsided. The redness, the itching, it seemed to improve again, but not for long. Again, only 2.5 months it lasted, and the flare came back again, but now this time it was much more severe. Not only it was a bigger flare-up, it also covered much bigger areas on his body. Initially, if he had the spots and the redness just behind his knees, now it did spread on his arms, and he did have some sort of red spots on his cheeks, and so on. So we tried to do all over again the application of the cream, but it came back again. So we did repeat this for several times, but in the end I realized, no, I had to stop, because in the long run, this wasn't working. Not only it wasn't working, I knew that the steroid creams do have a terrible implication. Not only it is very bad for the skin, because if you are using it long term, it makes the skin very thin, it starts breaking very easily, so it's really, really not good. And moreover, not only the skin is suffering, obviously it gets into our body, and all of us knows that hormonal or steroid creams are very dangerous for health as such. Therefore, I decided that I had to stop using steroid creams for Damian, because at the same time I did stumble across one of the articles, I think it was on the Sun website, or it was quite kind of widespread info on the internet about a young lady, 28-year-old girl who has been having dermatitis for a long time, and she was quite dependent on steroid creams, which she has been using for a long time. And once she decided to stop using them, she went into, I can't really describe. Obviously, the case of that young lady is pretty extreme, because she could not even function properly. Her skin became so flaky, and she got into the state that she couldn't even take care of herself. But obviously, we all know that the steroid creams can lead to terrible outcomes. So therefore, I decided to drop the usage of steroid creams, like I said, and to try to find alternative ways of taking control of Damian's eczema. Instead of applying the creams and trying to mask the symptoms as such, I tried to take into consideration everything which would possibly flare his skin up. So first of all, like I said, there are different sort of irritants which could flare up your child's eczema, and generally it is food to start with. In the food category, it could be eggs, it could be dairy, or any food which has got lactose, any soya products. Also, it could be any citrus fruit, or it could be tomatoes, because it has got high levels of histamine, or any other vegetables or products with a high level of histamine, for example, chocolate. So apart from food, other irritants include dust, pollen, tobacco smoke, any sort of harsh chemicals, which are very often, unfortunately, used in our soaps, shampoos, or any skincare products, even in the children's ones, even though they're trying to market them as skin friendly. Another irritant for eczema is heat and direct sun rays. Also, the overheating in general. For example, if the air gets too dry in a heated room, then it will be considered as an irritant for eczema. Apart from that, any sort of non-natural fabrics, any synthetic fabrics, especially if it is touching the skin, is going to irritate the eczema. And even natural fabrics, for example, like wool, could be also irritating for the skin because it's quite harsh. So it's not soft. And one of the well-known irritants is stress, or any sort of stressful situations when the child becomes upset. So first of all, we started by trying to exclude all these irritants when dealing with Damian's eczema. So that was number one thing for us. Number two was correct bathing and correct skin care. I will tell you in a minute what we do for it. So first of all, it is very, very important to remember not to be tempted to give the child very frequent baths. Because generally what happens after we take a shower or bath, the natural oily skin barrier of the skin gets damaged. And for people with dermatitis, it does not get recovered, or it does not get back to normal that easily, because they already have too much of dryness. So don't bathe your kids very often, because it's not good for them, unfortunately. And when giving a bath to your child, keep the temperature of water lukewarm. It is very important. never ever give a hot bath or shower to your child, because heat is a big irritant for eczema. Then next step is, do not use any chemical soap or any shampoo or any lotion, anything which has got harsh chemicals in it. Even better, don't use it at all. Try to find natural alternative. And I will teach you a very interesting thing right now, which I stumbled across myself and I found it really, really useful in dealing with Damian's eczema. So you all guys know oats, just normal oats, oatmeal oats. You can get them in any supermarkets, very cheap, very affordable. What you need to do is basically grind them so that they become very, very thin flour. And you just take a couple of spoonfuls of this oat powdered flour, whatever you want to call it, and you add it to your child's bath. Stir it, and it's not going to have very nice look. It's going to have some milky kind of shade, but ignore that. Just mix it properly and put your child in the bath. Let him or her stay in this bath for around 10 to 15 minutes. And when you finish bathing your child, you will see the difference. The skin will become moisturized. The secret of oats is that they have got high amounts of phenols, which makes oatmeal or oats natural moisturizer for the skin, plus it is anti-inflammatory. After you have given your child a bath, obviously take him out and dry him or her with natural cotton towel. Do not use any synthetic material towels, because that's going to irritate the child's skin. Once you have dried the skin, make sure that you apply the moisturizer straight away within the first 2 or 3 minutes, so that it can lock the moisture in. When it comes to moisturizers, it can take a bit of time and effort to choose the moisturizer which would be suitable for your child's skin, because it is quite tricky, because it is very individual thing. It took us probably a couple of months to really figure out which was best for Damian's skin. One thing to keep in mind is when it comes to moisturizers, there are generally 3 types available, which is lotions, creams, and ointments. Generally, the main difference is in regards to the amount of fat they have, or oil they have, I would say. Basically, best level of oil which can keep the skin moisturized. So generally the ointments are the ones which are best for eczema. And do use the moisturizer after every bath, and maybe 1 or 2 times a day. So we use the ointment, like I said, for Damian, not the cream, not the lotion, but the ointment. It's quite greasy. It's not very easy applicable on the skin, but it keeps the skin moisturized for longer and creates some sort of kind of greasy barrier on the skin. Apart from using the moisturizer for Damian, we use coconut oil. It has been our life savior, I would say. We use coconut oil 4 to 5 times a day, sometimes even 6 times. Every time we notice that the skin gets a bit too dry, we apply coconut oil on it. It's better if it is organic, but it doesn't have to be virgin coconut oil because it has got less fat in it. And it's not very good for skin, so just go for a normal organic coconut oil. Even the normal one would work, not necessarily the cooking one. You can use even a skincare one, but make sure that it has got no additives or preservatives, okay? Coconut oil has got amazing lauric acid in it, which makes it, again, natural antimicrobial, natural anti-inflammatory, and natural moisturizer. So it's like a miracle oil. That's what it has been for us, at least. Obviously, it has been known for centuries that it has been having amazing health benefits, both for skincare and for cooking and so on, but obviously it's a separate topic to discuss. So once you have moisturized your child, you've got to put on the clothes, and clothes have to be, like I said, cotton. No synthetics, especially when it comes to the t-shirts, the bodysuits, the trousers, any clothes which actually have got any contact with the skin. And one more tip is that the kids with eczema need to be kept cool most of the times. Generally, I did used to have a tendency to overdress Damian, thinking like, oh, he must be cold, because where I come from, we generally tend to put lots of clothes on kids, but try to keep them cool at all times, whether it is winter or summer. The skin needs to be cool and airy. Another tip is when the skin gets itchy, it is very, very difficult for a child to stop itching. For adults, it's difficult, but obviously for children, it's even worse. So the best way is to try to divert the child's attention to something else. So then he will break the cycle of like, it's itching, I need to itch it. So that's the best way to do it. And another point is that we've got to try and keep the child out of the stressful situations as much as possible, but it is obviously easier said than done, because we all know that kids become stressed on tiny little things when they want to play with this toy, or they don't want to go there, or they don't want to change nappy, and they become really upset. But as much as possible, we generally try to keep Damian happy. Obviously not letting him do everything, but just trying to divert his attention rather than telling him, no, don't do it, which will make him very upset. One more thing I would like to share is the supplements that we're giving to Damian. It is generally vitamin D during winter months, and we give him omega-3 drops pretty much throughout the year, because they both have got anti-inflammatory properties, and they work really well to stop the inflammation from inside the body. And apart from that, we also give Damian flaxseeds powder, or flaxseeds. We just grind the flaxseeds slightly roasted, and generally 1 teaspoon is mixed in his morning porridge or in his soup or anything of that sort, because again, flax seeds have got high levels of good omega-3 oils, which are very, very good for him. That was pretty much it, my dear friends. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I really do hope that the tips that I've shared in my video will be useful and helpful for at least one person. At least one child will be able to easier cope with this condition, and at least one parent will have peace of mind and proper night's sleep without their child waking up, scratching and crying because of their eczema. If you did like the video and would like to see and hear more topics in my next videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching once again, and hope you all have a lovely day. Bye for now.